It is Saturday morning, and this is WagerTalk's last call, and this is our last Saturday without college football. Our nightmare is over, everybody. I'm very excited. It has been a crazy week. Ariel Epstein and I just launched a new show on the Sport and State Network. Now I've got to fulfill my WagerTalk duties, and I do not have a Saturday off. I want you guys to know until like April. So you are stuck with me for like the next 10 months, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. We're going to go over all things college football. But today we've got some other sports. We still got to talk a little baseball. Bryan Leonard's going to join us. VR is going to go over some of the sharp plays that he's got. And we're going to talk a little blackjack strategy as well. And then Teddy Cover is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Talk about NFLX because I've got a bone to pick with the NFL preseason. I have been... We'll get into it here in a little bit. Let's bring in VR first. I wanted to see Jackpot. I saw him pop on when you were logged in the screen. I had to tweet out that his little ears were there, and I was like, how freaking cute. What a great name for a dog. Jackpot. What a dog. Look at him. He is just an absolute utter nugget. VR, let's talk about some of the things going on here today. We've got MLB. We've got NFL preseason. We've got college football right around the corner. You and I have filmed 3 episodes of Bet on It now. We did a Power 4 conference, a group of 6 video. It's so weird to not call it a group of 5 anymore. And then, of course, our NFL previews. So if you guys have not got a chance to go check those out on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, do so now. What else do we got going on? Are you starting your Steam room up here?
Today, yep. We're there at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m.
Every single Saturday, every single Sunday.
Yep. It's
Tell
on.
everybody where they can find that. Who gets it? How you're going to dictate that.
And I'm so glad I have it. Today's the perfect day because there's just so much to cover. Like you touched on, we have NFL football with the preseason going on. We got Major League Baseball. There's WNBA. There's a UFC card as well later on this afternoon. And like you said, next week is already the start of college football with lines for the following week. Like I've already released September 5th play to subscribers in college football, like that second week. And NFL, before you know it, the regular season's here. Like I already bet 3 week 1 games, Kel. I gave out 2 4% plays and a 5% already for that week 1 of the NFL, because I just think a lot of those lines probably won't be here in 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. And again, you got to try to get out ahead of the market when it comes to the NFL. If you're waiting until game day and even college football, you're going to have an uphill battle, especially week 1 where the game lines have been up for so long. Again, later, once that passes, it's a different story. But with these lines up for so long, if you're waiting until game day, the only chance you have is those lines that are affected by the public, because the public's going to bet late, they're going to bet game day, and they're going to force some moves. Then you'll be able to take advantage. Otherwise, these lines will be bet into shape where you're not really getting value on side A or side B. And that's exactly what the job of the bettors is. And that's what the books put out these lines so early. So it's a long about way of saying, don't wait. Like if it's a zero-sum game. So you see a bet you like, fire, and that number may not be there when that game takes off. I
want to talk about that because a lot of these books do already have week 1 lines. And one of the things that I love to do every single Sunday here with you is talk about those teasers. So we look at them early in the week. And the one strategy that you started doing a few seasons ago was actually waiting until game day to bet the teaser. So I was going to interject. I'll let you finish your thought, but let's talk about those teasers. So as far as those go, we're just waiting still. We're going to keep an eye on them over the next couple of weeks. And then you're not firing on teasers until Sunday. Is that correct?
Once the season starts and we get into the regular season, that's where I've had my most success, waiting until about 30 minutes before kickoff, because you got to remember, it's the opposite. When you're betting teasers, you're doing the opposite of when you're straight betting and you're trying to beat the market. And here's what I mean. You cash a teaser when the game lands near the number. So the highest chance of the game landing near the number is when the number is its most accurate. And when is the number most accurate? Right before kickoff. Why? Because all the factors have been added to that betting line. We know the injuries. We know who's playing. We know the weather. We know every comment. Like as sharp of a line as we're going to have is right before kickoff. So that's the lines I want to attack. Those numbers that are in that Wong approach that we talk about, where you want to tease through key numbers of 3 and 7. That's the only reason we're using a teaser. Otherwise, it's negative EV, and it's been proven over and over again that you'll make more money just straight betting at -110 than getting those extra points and tying up two teams in a teaser. But if you're able to use those teasers to get through numbers 3 and 7, then they become advantageous. So if you're teasing 5-6 days out, and because the line is in that area that it's wonged, like we say, it may not be there come Sunday. By Sunday, that line may be bet into shape where now it's not available to go through that 3 and that 7. And then it's not advantageous anymore. So for me, I found that I've actually been more selective. So it's less volume and higher win percentage by waiting until as close to kickoff as possible. Quickly, this is week 1. This is a little different because these lines are getting bet in the shape early. It's not until Sunday of week 1 that we got to wait. That's why I actually did release one teaser already, Kel, to subscribers.
You did?
I did because those numbers are there that I don't think are going to be there. I was able to go through 3 and 7 in 2 games that I don't think will be available comes that Sunday, because the public going to start getting involved and they will affect these betting lines. When it comes to the NFL, they affect the betting lines more than people realize. Like in some sports, they don't even care what the public's doing. Just when there's too much risk, they'll move it a little bit to attract action the other way. But in the NFL, like there's so much public money, sure, they're going to move the line off of the early sharp action. But after that, it's the public money that's overwhelming. And that's where we're able to take advantage. So for week 1, you could get down your teasers a little earlier because these lines, as I said, staying consistent, that they get bet in the shape earlier. Come week 2 and forward, you wait until about 30 minutes before kickoff when you're certain that this line is going to close to where you could wong it and you're going through 3 and through 7. And I had a lot of success doing that the last 2 seasons.
This is the kind of stuff we're going to talk about every single Sunday on Last Call. We may touch on bet on it here and there as well. And then, of course, you guys will be able to ask all of your questions in the Steam Room. VR for today's Steam Room, clients only. Yeah. Because I you know what, Kel? These guys have really had my back. I've had a losing 2026. Again, my goal is the same every single year, is to turn a profit for the 12 months. That's how I grade myself. And if our goals are aligned, I'm pretty sure I won't disappoint them. At least 9 of the 11 years, I haven't disappointed my supporters. With that said, now football season's coming, and I've done very well. 2 of the last 3 years, I finished number 1 in profit in college football. That's not by accident. Last year, NFL and college football combined, number 1 in profit, and I only hit 55%. So I didn't get lucky. I strictly grinded. Now I'm confident we're going to make some money this football season. Started off 5-1 in the preseason. Again, now I've had a few years of working with these power ratings, getting a lot better myself on how to interpret the information. So I want to make sure I focus on those guys that have had my back this entire year. In fact, anyone that's jumped off, please don't take this as a disrespect. But if you jumped off because I got cold for a week or 2 in baseball and tried to find that hot capper, do me a favor and stay over there. I don't need your money. I don't want your money. And you could keep looking for the hot hand. What we're doing is a little bit different. And I'm looking for those guys that are partnering with me and understand we're using this market because it's a vehicle to actually make money and invest in. We're not gambling. So with that said, I want to make sure I focus on those guys. I answer all their questions and I have them prepared for what's ahead, because we're going to make a lot of money over these next 4 or 5 months. We made over 100 units last year. And like I said, I didn't get lucky at all. I got unlucky and I had to grind every single win. If we get a little bit lucky, Kel, just a tiny bit of luck this year, I think I could really, really, really crush it. So with that said, it's subscribers only for those guys that are partnered with me. And I'm going to give them I got so much info for today, Kel, with NFL, with
Major League Baseball with the MMA and UFC going on. There's just a lot to cover. And thank God I have that steam room to answer all those questions that everyone may have and get them prepared for what's ahead.
All right. One of the things that I got to experience live was watching you get booted. I'm going to mute it because I'm going to talk over this video. So Johnny Detroit, Bobby the Bookie, and I are sitting to your right. We're playing blackjack, as you can see, at Mandalay Bay. And there's a pit boss, asking VR what the hell he's doing. And this was a funny night. And then he gets booted. We proceed to sit there and he goes, hit, stay. We cash out a little bit. They boot us all out of the casino. And we got to live to bet another day. We did not get permanently kicked out like you did. No. But it was such a fun night. And that's why we decided to add your blackjack course with your year-long package. So kind of explain what you're going to teach people in that course, what they can use it for, where they should be playing. Advantage Blackjack and just the little bit of things that you've ever taught me has completely changed the way that I play the game. In fact, Errol Epstein hates playing blackjack with me. My boyfriend hates playing blackjack with me because if the people around me aren't playing advantageously, I also get frustrated. So I'm like, yeah, you got to hit that. Nope, not going to do it. Okay, great. I'm going to go find my own table and go on a run, me heads up versus the dealer. And then nobody hates me for having a bad attitude.
My friends tell me all the time, Kel, I swear, dude, you take the fun out of this. Like,
that's what they tell me.
They like you take all the fun out of this because, we have signs, and based on how many chips I'm betting, you follow my lead. So when we have the edge, I'm betting more. When we don't have the edge, I'm betting less. Do the same. These guys want to bet based on their gut instinct. Like, we lost 3 hands in a row. They want to unload. I'm telling them, no. We got to minimize bet these next 3 or 4 hands. And they're like, dude, this isn't fun. I want to fire. This is why I wanted to do that.
That's a degenerate thing. That's what's inherent in most gamblers. You want to fire, but if you are there for a set limited point in time, you can make money betting blackjack, and nobody seems to understand that. The longer you sit at that table, the less advantage you have.
You could print money playing blackjack. That's why I wanted to create that course, Kel, because I did it. And I'm not that bright. I'm not knocking myself, but I know I'm not the smartest guy in every room. In fact, I have a high school education. But I know I could add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and I'm really good at in that setting. I don't panic in a casino setting. So I knew this is something I could learn. Well, here's the difference and why I wanted to make sure I share this at WagerTalk, because I paid over $5,000 to take that exact course, Kel, and half the stuff that I shared on my course, I wasn't even taught. It was stuff I had to learn from experience. And here's why I wanted to do it for sports bettors, because it's so parallel to sports betting. Your edge is almost identical in blackjack as it is with sports betting. So the risk management, the risk of ruining, the dealing with the swings, it's exactly like sports betting, except it's exponential. And here's why. Because in sports, it takes a while to see the long term. In blackjack, I actually saw it in real time, and that changed my entire life. I was a losing sports bettor with winning information until I learned Advantage Blackjack. Because with Advantage Blackjack, I could find a fast dealer and get 150 to 200 hands an hour. So if I could get 6 hours in, I'm making over 1,000 bets. If I could get 5 days, I made 5,000 bets. If I could play a month, I've made 20,000 bets. If I could play a year, I've made 250,000 bets in a year. There's no way I could make 250,000 sports bets in multiple years. So you're not seeing the long term for a while. But in blackjack, I realized, because I was seeing it, that as long as I bet sized exactly what I was supposed to do, no instinct, nothing, just exactly what my system says. Bet that based on your edge. And I followed the rules exactly, that there was nothing the casino could do. I was just going to take their money. Like, I was the casino at that instance. As soon as you walk through the door, you're the favorite. Like, if you take that course, I swear to you, and you practice it and you have a passion for it, you become the favorite versus the casino. Every time you walk through those doors, and you'll know which blackjack tables to look for, which games to play, what your bankroll needs to be, what your risk of ruin is, and what your edge is before every hand is dealt to you. That's what that course is going to teach you, and we're giving it to you for free. And I promise you, so much of that is going to carry over to your sports betting. And whether you have the money for it now or the bankroll for it now or not, this is something that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you could employ, because unless they change the game, which they haven't done in forever, it's the same rules apply because blackjack has memory. So I urge you, if you're ever going to jump on board with me, do it during football season. And if you're ever going to jump on board, take advantage of the blackjack course. It is something everyone's going to take something away from that. And I shared so many secrets to help you get away with it. Because I could teach anyone to count cards, Kel. Give me a couple weeks with someone and I could make them a freaking expert. But pulling it off in that setting is a different story, with pit bosses, with cocktail waitresses, with distractions, with other players,
with
like
your
you
friends, with strangers. It's a
and then not to look like you're there for a job. Dude, I taught a guy how to count. Kel, I swear to you, he paid me good money. I taught him how to count. Really smart guy. And I went to watch him play. And when I walked into the casino, behind this table, here's what I saw. He was sitting there like this. He had a bottle of water, a Starbucks with his name on it, so he didn't even get the casino's coffee. He had his chips set up perfectly, perfect little stacks.
Oh,
dude,
no.
He looked like he was there for a job. The only thing missing was a calculator, pencil, and pad. He looked like he was there for a job, like he had just clocked in. I said, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Where's your sheets? Where's your gambling sheets? Where's your freaking
I'm going to send you the last time we played the win.
So I teach a lot of gold there.
I want you to see me, Ariel Epstein, the Mad Russian, were playing during March Madness at the Win, outside at the pool. Swimsuits, margaritas, obnoxiousness, celebrating small wins. Yeah. You got to play the game. You got to play the part, and you can fly under the radar. I won 3 or 4 dimes just sitting there at the pool and telling other players what to do, just like I was the obnoxious person that I am. And Ariel was just standing there recording the whole time. I'll send you the video. I did not let her post it online, but
you should have a hooker standing next to you, some sweet and low dripping from your freaking nostril. Like, you need to look like a degenerate junkie that's there to blow his money, not like someone there for a job.
Oh man, I'm gonna let you go because I know you got to get ready for the steam room. Appreciate you as always. I cannot wait to spend every single Wednesday for Bet On It, Saturday and Sunday with VR. We're going to let him get the heck out of here, and we're going to talk some contests. That's right. Right now, WagerTalk has a $50,000 guarantee NFL Pick 5 against the spread contest, $250, splashsports.com. You guys can see that over there. I got the wrong graphic up. This is what happens when I nominate to be my own producer. So go over there, splashsports.com /WagerTalk. You guys will be able to check that out in addition to all the other wonderful contests that I have up on Splash Sports. If you guys are looking for the college angle, let's bring in Bryan Leonard, talking some baseball. Bryan, good morning. Thanks for waiting in the wings. I know you guys just got done with Total Bases a little bit ago. So if you guys are looking for extensive baseball talk, that is where you want to go. We're doing minimal baseball talk, Bryan, because all I want is some baseball winners. August is so freaking hard to handicap baseball because this is my novice opinion, because you've got teams surging right now. You've got teams coasting right now, and you got teams tanking right now. And I started a new show with Ariel Epstein and Joe Ranieri this week. And I asked Joe yesterday on the show, I said, Joe, Ariel, how in the heck do you handicap baseball right now? You've got the Dodgers that are on cruise control. You've got the Pirates who are still playing Paul Skeens, who may be hurt. Maybe he should be rested. Adam Trigger from your show jumped in and said, absolutely not. You got to continue playing Paul. And then you've just got the teams like the White Sox that I couldn't be happier that cashed their season win total for us yesterday.
I told you a couple of years ago, you said you were a White Sox fan. I said, you got a nice future, and they're really playing well this season. Luckily, they're in the worst division in baseball, so they've got a nice lead there. But, yeah, you mentioned the Pittsburgh Dodgers game, and the Dodgers are one of these teams you really have to be careful on when you're playing the Dodgers, because they've got such a big lead in the division. They could take days off. The games aren't as important. And we're able to take advantage of that. I talked about this on the earlier show today, and I kind of like Pittsburgh plus the 1.5 here. I've gone back and forth on how to play Pittsburgh, because Skubal's been good for the Dodgers. He hasn't been great. But Pittsburgh with Jones, if you take a look at the two starters here and you rank them on today's schedule, they're probably two of the top 5 starters in baseball going today at the same game. And one of them is getting upwards of plus 225 as an underdog, and that's Pittsburgh. That game went down to the wire yesterday. The Dodgers win in walk-off fashion. The Dodgers haven't spent a lot of money on their bullpen, but the Pittsburgh bullpen's been just as good lately. So I really don't see why this line is so high. The Dodgers are the better team, no doubt about it, but the game means much more to Pittsburgh than it does to the Dodgers. So
Bryan,
I want to find a way to play Pittsburgh. I used it on the other side. I said maybe play him in the full game. I also like him, and I'm going to get him out here plus the 1.5. Your total is 7.5 on this game, so there's not going to be many runs played here. So to get 1.5 and you get them at a pretty decent number, basically 110 or whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to play the Pittsburgh Pirates plus 1.5, and it wouldn't surprise me if they win this game straight up.
Here's kind of the thought process that I have. You mentioned you're not sure why they're priced so high. Are we still at this point in time, what are we, 5 months into baseball season, paying a premium for teams named the Dodgers and the Yankees? Is that just automatic? The books add 10, 15, 20 cents to these teams based on the name alone?
Well, they know the general public out there, the guy that just plays baseball because it's something to bet on as opposed to watching it each and every day. He's going to play those teams. And I've always been an underdog player. And anytime I give out the Angels or the Rockies or something, everybody bitches. Well, even your worst teams in baseball most years win 40% of the time.
Yeah.
So baseball's different. In the NBA, you're going up and down the court, 200 times in a game. The better team is going to win more games than that. So it's a situation for me where every game, when you're playing 162 games, every game means something different for every team. And you just try to dig in. And a lot of the things that I use is I use the bullpens. And, you may have the best bullpens in baseball, but if you use your top 3 guys the last 2 days, they're out. They're not going to be pitching. And a lot of people, like I said, if you're not paying attention to each and every day, you'll say, oh, they're fine. They've got these guys in the bullpen. Well, no, they're not going to be pitching that day. So you eliminate them and you go, okay, well, these guys that normally pitch the 5th and 6th inning now got to pitch the 8th and 9th. So, yeah, that's what you have to do. You really, in order to beat baseball, you have to grind it out. It is definitely a grind, 200 days or whatever, all season long. And even more than that when you check in the playoffs. But baseball is, at least to me, it's easy to win because I like to play underdogs. We've had WagerTalk for 12 years now. We're just about to celebrate our 12th year anniversary. And I'm number 1 all time in Major League Baseball net profit. And in fact, over the last 12 months overall in all the sports right now, I'm I'm number 1 in net profit. And that includes all the major sports. And I'm not a guy that plays a lot of props. If I'm giving out something, you'll be able to find it in multiple books. And I'll do, sides and totals for the most part. In baseball, I'll do like first halves and things like that, team totals. But no, I'm not a guy who's going to find a total somewhere, or a prop somewhere that's only at 1 or 2 places and give it out because I know nobody else can bet it.
Lots of people in the comment section, they are arguing about who's going to win the World Series. Cubs, Padres, Yankees, just for fun. Who's going to win the World Series, Bryan? Do you have a futures bet? I know you're not a big futures guy, but did you happen to give out on total bases? Maybe somebody back in April or May that you really liked?
Yeah, there's a few things I played. I played the Angels to have the worst record in baseball. Unfortunately, the Sacramento, the A's are channeling them for that. But yeah, I gave up earlier. When you're betting futures, it all depends on the numbers you're getting. And I said the Braves earlier in the season because they've had so many starting pitching injuries on the year. They're getting some of their guys back now, but they had their best hitter missed a good part of the season. Their bullpen is the best in baseball, if you ask me. The back end of that bullpen, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, they're locked down. I like them. I also, you mentioned the Cubs. The Cubs are a team that is also dealt with pitching injuries all season long, but they're right in there. They're one of the best hitting teams in baseball. So what you're handicapping is not what they've done in the past, not what they're doing right now, but who is going to be available come playoff time. And that's why, the Yankees still have guys that are out right now. Judge, obviously, he might not even play in the regular season. They may just bring him back the last week or so, but they're going to have guys that will be back at the end of the regular season. So go through everybody's roster, see who is on the injury list right now and when they expect them to come back. And that's the team I want to bet a future on right now, as opposed to when they do come back.
Very, very nice stuff there. I thought you were going to sell me on the Yankees, and I was going to wait for Errol Epstein to go nuts in the comment section. Like, I care about the Yankees. Okay, so last question. I want to ask you, I have the White Sox to win the AL Central. I believe last time I checked, they had a 5-game lead. They may only have a 4.5-game lead at this point in time. 35-1. I bet nickel on it. So it's got a nice payday. I got no way to hedge that. Like, really, I really don't have a way to hedge that necessarily. What would you do if you were in my position?
So you got them 35-1 to win the division?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it was a combination of you, by the way, so I owe you a little credit, and then John Murray saying that a sharp group bet them over 67 wins or 66 and a half wins, I think it was. So we needed 67. And I just saw it and I was like, 35-1 to win the AL Central. Let's just see this. Let's see how much fun this could be. And as you know, if I bet futures, I bet them on credit. So it's not near as painful as putting it into your betting account and locking up that money all season long.
Well, right now they got a 4-game lead over the Twins, 5.5 over the Guardians, 5.5 over the Tigers, 13 over the Royals. Don't bet the Royals.
Yes.
So now we have to worry about the Twins, Guardians, and Tigers. Well, on the season, I don't pay as much attention to win-losses. I use expected win-loss, which brings a little bit of a luck factor in. Right now, Chicago's got 66 wins. They're expected to have 68, so they're slightly underplaying what they've done. But the big differential is the Detroit Tigers. They've got 61 wins right now. Their expected win-loss is 72-55. The White Sox are plus 47 differential on the season in run differential. The Tigers are 82. Now, you do have the Tigers without Skubal, but I like what they have done. And really for the Dodgers, he hasn't done anything special. But right now, if I was to play anybody in hedge, it would be the Detroit Tigers.
So you think that maybe finding hello, Ralph Michaels.
Hey, Kelly, I just looked at DraftKings. You could probably find better, but the Tigers are currently 12-1 the division. So if you're thinking about buyback, that's the numbers you have.
That's not a bad hedge. Okay. Because if Johnny Detroit's Tigers ruined my 35-1, I don't know what I would do with myself. Love it. We got 2 special guests on one WagerTalk's last call. That is absolutely great. Just makes my day. I love special guests, especially when we're hanging out here during the summer. Bryan, before we get you out of here, please let everybody know what you guys got going on at Total Bases, what you've got going on over at WagerTalk.com. I know you mentioned you are number 1 over the last 12 years.
12 years in baseball, 12 months overall. Yeah, it's been a really nice run for us. And baseball and hockey are where I make most of my money because you play a lot more underdogs in those games because of the point spread. The point spread comes into an advantage in football, but a lot of times you'll bet an underdog in football or you'll tease them and they end up winning the game outright. So that's why I like the baseball and the hockey. Number 1 all time in hockey also, by the way. But yeah, we've been very good in these sports, and college football, I've had a lot of success in the past. NFL, a little disappointing last couple of years, haven't gotten there. But when you're playing the NFL, at least the way I handicap the NFL, the information is all out there. You need to know where the numbers are going. And there's where I've been around for 45 years. I can tell you that kind of thing. And in basketball, the NBA playoffs are easy money. I say it every year. The NHL playoffs are the same way, because you're getting the same teams playing each other back to back, and the coaching makes so much of a difference there. So, yeah, we're really excited about the college basketball season coming up. As you saw, that I'm sitting here with Ralph Michaels, and I got into college basketball because of Ralph. He's an excellent college basketball handicapper. So, yeah, you can get the 12-month special right now. You can get, if you're looking for just baseball, I only handicap the MLB. Trig handicaps AAA, and he's excellent at it. He's very good at it.
I can't believe that he will text me and be like, bet on, and it will be some random city in America, like bet on the Richmond something. And I'm like, what? Where am I going to find this?
Yeah. If you're looking to make profit and you don't like, I know guys back when COVID hit, people were playing Russian tennis or ping pong. Oh my God,
we had Nicaraguan soccer to save us.
Yeah, between me with the MLB, with him with the AAA, and with Tokyo Brandon, with South Korean baseball, Mexican baseball, Japanese baseball. He has been great in there. He lives in Tokyo, Japan, and so that's the way I would look at it. I just bet my NBA or Major League Baseball, bet the AAA from Trig, and bet the other leagues from Tokyo Brandon. It's hard to guarantee a profit, but that's what I would do. And based on what we've done over the years, that's the way you make money in baseball.
Absolutely. Bryan Leonard, total bases every single day, basically. These guys are providing, I'll call it behind home plate, dugout. We'll call it the dugout information. I mean, amazing stuff that you can learn about handicapping baseball. Subscribing to their stuff is going to make you a better. It's going to make you a better baseball better. So make sure you guys head over to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, give them a thumbs up. Those guys kick ass. Bryan Leonard, thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time at the beach.
There you go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, one more promo real quick we're going to get to before we get to Teddy Covers. Right now, Splash Sports, $21 million guaranteed. When you go over to splashsports.com/WagerTalk, use password WagerTalk, and we're going to give you an extra $100 when you sign up for their Survivor contest. You can use that on Quick Picks. You can use it on My College Football Survivor. You can use it on golf tiers. You can use it on anything your heart desires. Splashsports.com/WagerTalk. All right, Teddy Covers time. We're going to get into some NFL X. I don't know when they started calling it that, but NFL preseason. Teddy, I had the Texans the other night, and as you know, I have a new show with Ariel Epstein called On Tilt, and boy, was I on tilt. At 10:30 at night, I'm watching it on my iPad, and I'm like, it's over. It's like 20-0 or something at halftime. I don't really remember, and I was like, I'm going to bed, and then I couldn't help but score watch. And then I was like, Aiden O'Connell, I said nice things about this kid today on the show. And then he proceeds to march down and go 95 yards. And I lost. Texans money line, Texans 1.5. You lose it all. It was a disaster. How do we avoid losing money betting the NFL preseason? I've seen lots of people say you can't win betting the NFL preseason, but you do.
So good morning, Kelly. And first, congratulations on your new gig. What a huge deal. You know, with you and Joe and Ariel at working with Clay Travis and the new media company. It's worth $100 million already. Well done.
Who knows if it is, but I'm really kicking myself for not asking for equity.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a huge gig for you. Congratulations. When we talk about the preseason, and I leaned Houston in that game just like you did, but I couldn't pull the trigger because they didn't have the edge in the second half. The Texans had all the edges in the first half, and it played out that way. Point spreads are decided after halftime. So what we look to do in August, if we want a preseason bet where everything points to the first half, just bet the first half. But when I'm handicapping these games, again, the headline is going to be this starter's going to play. They're going to play 2 series. They're going to play 9 plays or 12 plays. That's not when the point spreads get decided. They get decided after halftime. So when we're trying to handicap NFL preseason, the point of emphasis is who's going to be playing in the second half and what are they going to try to accomplish. Or when you find a situation like this, just bet a first half bet. They're available.
It sure was available, and I was sure kicking myself for not betting it, Teddy. Bryan Leonard mentioned those line moves in the old school way of handicapping NFL, and I know you've got your finger on the button. Every single Monday, opening line report, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, live right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. You're going through everything we need to know for the week. You're doing it for preseason right now. You've got all your previews up over on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. And then starting week 1, I will be a regular viewer on that show because there is so much information that comes out Monday morning that is pertinent to you placing your NFL bets. Give everybody kind of a little, we'll give it a little taste of what they can expect on the show for this NFL season. Dan Alexander is hosting. Shout out to Dan. Teddy, what are you doing anything different this year on the show?
No. I mean, look, I've been doing the show the same way for 20-something years. And the reason I'm doing it the same way for 20 years is because, A, that's what the market wants. And B, that's how we give out as much information as we can. Now, we try to one thing I'm really trying to do is make the show a little bit short. You know, we're going an hour, and I'm trying to knock it down to 45 minutes, you know, so I'm trying to be a little bit more concise. But if you want to know on a Monday morning, A, everything that just happened yesterday, not the final scores, what really happened, and B, what's going to happen to the lines to every game throughout the course of the week, it's a show you probably want to watch. It's live every Monday, 8 a.m. On the West Coast, 11 a.m. for those of you on the East Coast, right here on WagerTalk TV. And obviously you can watch the archive version on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. But it's strong info. It's every Monday, and it's a show that has developed a cult-like following over the years. Kelly, the guys that watch it love it. And
the real reality is, Teddy, is that there are at least 2, if not 3 moments every single show live. It's like, hey, if you like this side, you better open up your sports betting apps right now. You better have your odds logic screen ready to go. This is, yes, novice bettors. Yes, average Joes can watch your show, but these are for people who want to get down early on certain bets. And for me, I liked it because you'd say, Kel, what are you doing? There is no rush to bet this X team. This line's only going the other direction. Hang tight, and maybe you'll get a 7 and a hook. Maybe you'll get a better money line on this underdog.
So the thing that I've always appreciated about the show is who watches it. You know, the wise guys watch it. The guys who are betting on Mondays watch it. The pro and have those guys watch me every week. You know, it's you don't have to move in the markets, but that's the audience we've attracted over the course of the years with this show. Is we're getting the big bettors who are interested in our opinion. So we'll keep doing it every Monday. And of course, the comments are great. We get in the comments every week. You know, I try to answer every one of them. I don't always get to it, but I tried. I mean, I that's one of the best ways that I have for interacting with people is through the comments for that show and all the videos. You know, obviously there's comments right here, right now. But when we only have a few minutes and lots of games to talk about, it's hard to do. But obviously in the chat and the forum, it's really, if you want to ask me questions, that's a great way to do it. And I'll get in there and answer them.
Perfect. I think we have 10 preseason bets. I can't quite count on this sports betting app, but I want you to give out a couple of them. We've got about 7 more minutes here, guys. So if there's a game you want Teddy to hit, jump in to the comment section. If not, I'm going to let Teddy kind of give out a couple that maybe narrowly missed his card or were just a little bit off the number. And that's why they're not up for sale over at WagerTalk.com.
Sure. I almost feel like doing a bunch of quick hitters right here and just like plowing through it.
Perfect.
But you know,
watch this. This is what I do for VR every single Saturday college football. I just let him have the floor.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. So the money's coming for, I'm just going to go from the top of the card right now. And this game starts at in 22 minutes, the Lions and the Commanders. The money has been coming pretty heavy for Washington, even though Marcus Mariota is not going to play in this game. It's supposed to be Sam Hartman and Ethan Kalamakis for the Commanders. That is not a bet on QB duo. That being said, for Detroit, we're going to see Josh Dobbs and Luke Altmaier, and that's not necessarily a bet on QB duo either. Lots of money for the under in that one, but not, 36.5. Wouldn't argue if you want to bet under Commanders and Lions. The side itself has already been bet pretty hard. We've seen a fair bit of Indy money this morning. It looks like Atlanta's not going to have Penix or Tua in the lineup today, which leaves them a little bit short in the QB rotation. The Colts outplayed their opponent, New England, last week pretty badly, but they were -4 in turnovers in that ballgame. But Indy now laying more than a field goal. Minnesota's now laying more than a field goal at a handful of books. No money for Baltimore. The Ravens under Harbaugh were bet on in August. Market's not convinced that's going to be the case in the new Jesse Minter era whatsoever. Lots of Joe Fagnano for the Ravens today. Fagnano, like Kirk Schlittler, has got an unfortunate last name. Nonetheless, he's a guy who showed a lot at UConn last year. And if there was one QB who was really impressive last week, who I wasn't expecting to be really impressive, Fagnano was that guy. That being said, The money's coming the other way in Baltimore and Minnesota. Buffalo, Cleveland, everyone knows about the Browns QB battles in that contest. And certainly Cleveland, a team that has something to prove here in August more than most teams. That being said, even with the three-way, and again, Dylan Gabriel's got to get work as well. Despite the, Sanders versus Watson doing, I expect Watson to win that battle. But looking at the Browns last week, even with the QB battle, didn't matter. The offensive line couldn't block anyone. No, they're laying 3. I'm seeing no 3.5 yet. There is a 3.5 at FanDuel right now, looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen. That's the beauty of the Odds Logic live odds screen. Money for a little bit of money for New Orleans right now. Look, if there's coaches that don't care on your list of coaches that don't care, Sean McVay's at or near the top of the list. That said, McVay has, if you look at who the Rams have faced in recent preseasons, it's one game after the next against a coach who doesn't care either. I'm not convinced that's the case today for New Orleans and Kellen Moore and company. It looks to me like the Saints are interested in this one. As for the Rams, lots of Stetson Bennett and, of course, lots of the rookie Ty Simpson there. How much time do I have, Kel? Keep going?
Yeah, you can keep going. Real quick, I'll interject. Teddy, season win report came out 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago now. I'm losing track of time.
Yeah, we're all losing track of time. Came out at the last day of July.
Okay, so 23 days ago. What is going on over there with the season win report? Where can everybody get it so they can get in some of these futures bets before the season starts?
Sure. So the website is obviously WagerTalk.com. You can go to my page directly, wt.buzz/TC. There's some pretty good track records that I got when it comes to season win totals, obviously, over the years. 105.56. That's 65% over the last 25 years. The 5% big tickets during that span are 17-5, 77% over the last 25 years. NFL Week 1 has been really good for me over the years, 34-15.
Wow.
When you do all your work over the summer, you expect.
Yeah,
NFL
that
Week
is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
Good point.
I'm really looking forward to Week 1 already. I haven't posted yet, and there's no reason to post yet. The reason I want to post now for a Week 1 game is if the line's around a key number, it's going to move, and I haven't seen that scenario. But we're going to win. I expect to win Week 1. So the season win's been really good. The NFL September has been really good. The Week 1's been really good. And we won a 5% big ticket right side last night with the Carolina Panthers in preseason. Actually, it's nice when they go wire to wire the way they're supposed to, like Carolina did last night.
Nice, easy, no sweat. Those are my favorite bets. I don't care what the degenerates say, Teddy. I want the rocking chair winner. I want to just enjoy. No, maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I don't want that sweat anymore. Let's get back into some of this NFL preseason. You got a few more minutes, so I'm going to give you guys all of the information and let Teddy do his thing.
Sure. Let me just pick back up with my notes where I was a moment ago. And where were we at? We're at the Giants in Miami. There's a lot of Giants love today. And there's a school of thought for the G-Men. Again, the G-Men have a bet on QB rotation. When you got Jameis coming off the bench, that's bet on. And of course, you have Harbaugh as the head coach. And there's this thought process out there that the Ravens were point spread juggernauts for all those years because that's what Harbaugh wanted. And I'm going to put a little shade on that thought process. In my opinion, the reason the Ravens were so good for so long, ATS, in preseason, is because they had the type of quarterback rotations that work in August. What do you want in August when you're betting on the NFL? You want a quarterback who can make plays with his feet when there's nobody open downfield and scramble 7 yards for a first down. And whether it's Tyler Huntley, whether it's Josh Johnson, all the different quarterbacks that Baltimore had for many, many years were really good at that. Are the Giants really good at that? They weren't last week. And nonetheless, they're laying a pretty big price here against Miami. I'm not convinced we're going to see a lot from Jeff Hafley and the starters here. And the Dolphins, for what it's worth, the Dolphins, to me, coming into the season, they're my number one under team. Miami's going to run the football. They're going to play defense. Hafley's a defensive mindset. Dolphins games better be totaled in the 30s. We're going to be playing a whole lot of Miami unders once the regular season starts. I wouldn't argue with an under. In this one, 36.5, the prevailing number. Philly, New England, I don't really have a lot for that game. I didn't see a lot for it. I'm not doing anything with it. Easy pass. Chicago, Cincinnati. Chicago is a team that looked really good when it comes to the second stringers and the third stringers last week. And Ben Johnson was really interested in that ball game, and there was a lot of bet for Chicago in that blowout over Cleveland. And some of that was Cleveland's ineptitude. But there's certainly some bet on for the Bears. Though I read that Bagent was banged up. He suffered a hamstring injury. He's missed practice, and he's a pretty important factor for Chicago's QB rotation. I don't believe he's going to play today, hence the money for Cincinnati. That being said, Zach Taylor doesn't care. You know, the coaches that don't care, that's one of them. KC and Tampa, Andy Reid doesn't care. That said, this price is too high for Tampa. You know, I put out you can watch a detailed analysis of this play as well as I did a daily double with the Saints and the Rams and the Chiefs and the Bucks. You can get the free play video and watch free play video on my homepage, wt.buzz/TC, or you can watch it on YouTube. But anyhow, I made a case that this line was a little bit too high, and everyone wants to bet against Andy Reid. I get it. But it's not like Tampa's an easy team to lay 5.5 with. No surprise here. If this one's kind of like the Denver-Green Bay game last night, where it's like, oh, look at the track record of Denver. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just too many points for this. It feels a little bit like that here. I can only take Kansas City plus. Didn't do anything with Dallas, Arizona. Late night, Arizona's offense has looked tremendous here in the preseason. That being said, they've yet to face. And if I was going to play something in Dallas, Arizona, I'd probably play Dallas first half. That was on the short list. I think the Cowboys, at least initially, are coming to play, and I don't love what Arizona's doing QB rotation this week. So Dallas first half, worth a look for this better.
All right, that is a little bit of preview of what you get on Opening Line Report. That was more of a rapid fire. Teddy goes into great things on that show, like quotes from coaches, because those things are important, unless, of course, the coach is Andy Reid, who lies to us right to our faces. Teddy covers, again, Opening Line Report every single Monday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Teddy, WT.buzz/TC to partner up with Teddy for the NFL season or to get a copy of his season wins report. Did I forget anything else, Teddy?
No, so Mike Tomlin was the ultimate guy who would say, oh, yeah, we're going to do this, that, and the other. And then after the game, he'd be like, oh, yeah, we changed our mind yesterday and forgot to tell anyone. You know, Tomlin made me crazy for preseason. Promo code Teddy50 is going to get you $50 off my NFL full season. So don't buy the win report. Don't buy a package. If you buy the season package, you also get the win report included. You get everything. You get the win report. You get the preseason. You get the regular season. You get the playoffs. You get the Super Bowl. You get the proper everything that I do. $5.99 full season. That's what the next 7 months of action, and you get $50 off. Teddy50 at checkout. We'll get you $50 off. So if you want to partner up, you know, last year was not the kind of year I expect in the NFL. I'm not doing it again this year. You know, we're focused. We're hungry.
That's how I like. That's how I like people that I tail during the NFL season. Shout out to Teddy at Teddy_covers on social media. Again, go check out all of his stuff over on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Real quick, I got to still tell you guys about what's going on over at Splash. WagerTalk has a $50,000 guaranteed contest. You're picking 5 NFL games per week. There's only 223 entries that we're going to allow in it. $250 to sign up, splashsports.com/WagerTalk. You guys can also check out their $21 million guaranteed survivor contest. I'm now 3 entries in. I'm about to do a 4th as soon as Errol Epstein Venmos me her $250 to be my partner with Brett and CT Bets. It's going to be great. I hope you guys are excited. Football season is so close. We can taste it. I cannot wait. Again, I'm going to be here with you guys each and every Saturday during college football season and each and every Sunday during the NFL season. So if you guys like the show, hit that thumbs up. Give us that subscribe button. We really appreciate you, each and every one of you, even some of you guys in the comment section. I see those. Don't think I don't. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Cash those tickets, and we will see you guys next weekend.